It's time for the New York Jets to open up the wallets and pay Alijah Vera-Tucker right bleeping now. I explain. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Zooey mama.
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets. We're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your friggin' podcast. Make sure as you guys come in, you like the video and hit subscribe. We got a full article in the YouTube description on this very topic. I wrote it at 1 in the morning. I was just inspired, and I said, this is it. I saw something. It's an epiphany. Let's write about it and talk about it. So there is a full article in the YouTube description. We're trying to chase 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so continue to spread the gospel of all things Boy Green Daily. And before we get this party started on Alijah Vera-Tucker, mother effing chew, baby, gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. You love to see it, baby. Hell yeah. That's a raffle ticket, of course, to our contest that goes to Joey B. Me. Joey B. Me, you are now a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, and salute your local MFC who has 11 raffle tickets so far this month for a big contest. I'll throw that back up on the screen for those who are unaware of, first off, what this contest is and what you are competing for. Throw it up on the board. A New York Jets patched out pullover hoodie, a Super Bowl prize pack, some cool items from past Super Bowls, a custom laser Jets Boy Green gift package, which means I have several items that are all custom with Jets logos and Boy Green logos on them, license plates, pens, and so many other items, all up for grabs. Again, every raffle ticket that's submitted during the month of March makes you eligible for this entire prize pack. One lucky individual will win it all, baby. One lucky individual, again, will win it all. Every time you, again, do a $2.99 raffle ticket, if you purchase a Boy Green Coffee Club membership, that's in the YouTube description down below. Join the Boy Green Coffee Club here. That's $2.99. You become a loyal member to the show. You help support me and my family, which is great. And you get a bunch of perks. Obviously, one being a raffle ticket. That's awesome. You have access to our Discord channel where we're already starting to talk about our big Jets game that we plan on hosting, going to a Jets home game and doing a tailgate special and sitting together and all that jazz. We're already talking about those details of what you guys prefer for a variety of options. So you also have access to that along with our emojis and priority replies to comments and so much more. So MFC, thank you for your contributions, my good sir. So let's get into it here on AVT. AVT, for those who don't know, is entering the final year of his rookie contract here in 2025. It's his fifth-year team option the Jets exercised last May. It's fully guaranteed. It's $15.3 million. Now, I think there are a lot of reasons why the New York Jets need to open the bag right now for AVT. And we're going to go through all of them here on the show. First off, AVT is good. I mean, let me just say it bluntly, I suppose. He's a good player. He's 25 years old. He entered the league back in 2021 as a first-round draft choice. Remember, the Jets traded up with the Minnesota Vikings from 23 to 14th overall to select him. Across his 4 seasons, the former Trojan product has started in 43 games. However, as all of you know, he's never started a full season in his career due to a variety of injuries, 2 being quite serious. He tore his triceps in 2022, missed the final 10 games of that season. And the very next season, he blew out his Achilles and missed the final 12 games of that year, both of them coming in Denver against the Broncos, a weird thing that happened. I don't know why it was Denver, but either way, it did happen. So he's been unable to stay healthy consistently. But when he's been healthy, he's shown all-pro potential, as Jets X Factor Jets analyst Joe Blewett says. Now, whether this is real or not, I guess it's up for you guys to determine. I told you he's missed all these games in his career. But the seasons in which he's played the most games in his career, this past season and his rookie season, there was a commonality with those two seasons. And it's that he played the same position the entire season. As a rookie, he played entirely as a left guard the full season. And then this past season, he played the entire season as a right guard. AVT during his career has played 4 of the 5 offensive line positions: left tackle, left guard, right tackle. The only one he hasn't played is center, and Sal even joked once that we may even throw him there just to, flex on people. Here are the career snaps at each of those positions. He's spent 70 snaps at left tackle, 1,027 snaps at left guard, 1,249 snaps at right guard, and 279 snaps at right tackle. But again, I repeat, healthy AVT is only played in one position, and again, that was this past season and his very first season. So when he stayed at one position, he stayed healthy. Is there a correlation to that? I'm not sure. So the first primary reason why the New York Jets should want to extend AVT is because he's good and he's young. Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn said at the NFL Combine, they're not in the business of letting good players walk out the door. Well, it's time to put their money where their mouth is. And some people would say we should try to be patient here. Here's why I say screw patience. The $15.3 million option for AVT is fully guaranteed for this season. That means it's entirely hitting the books right now. That is a massive cap hit. If the Jets gave an extension to AVT, they could lower that cap hit dramatically for now and also for future seasons. Here is the proposal I've thrown out there in the universe, and I'll also explain some other reasons that I would pay AVT. According to SpotTrack, they have a calculated market value section on their website that projects what a player's worth right now. And they project him to sign a 4-year deal for $44.7 million on his next extension. That would be $11.2 million per season, which again would be lower than the 5th-year option. Now, the reason why AVT would sign this, in theory, is because he'd get long-term security. 15.3 is nice, but it's essentially a franchise tag of sorts. It's only that 1 year, and then that's it. So if AVT got hurt again next year, that could put him in a tough spot. This new contract that I've proposed here from SpotTrack would make him 18th among the highest paid guards in football. There are obviously numbers that put him in, the highest paid insert guard, right or left, but I like to put it in the overall category. And here, so again, I think you should sign him because this guy's young, 25. Yeah. He plays on the offensive line, a premium position. Yeah. And look at what's coming on the horizon. Look what's coming up on the horizon, people. The Jets got people to pay. It's a first world problem, which is very nice, but it's a problem nonetheless. Here are all the players that the Jets have that are expected to be or set to become free agents next year. The other guard, John Simpson, he was awesome last year. He's going to be a free agent. He only signed a 2-year deal. Linebacker Quincy Williams, he's set to be a free agent. What are you doing there? Breece Hall, what are you doing there? He's a free agent next year. And we've already mentioned AVT. So you have 4 players that are going to command some serious bucks. John Simpson's coming off a great year, so we'll see what happens. Offensive linemen get paid. Quincy Williams has outplayed his contract, obviously, and he's looking for some scratch. He's making $6 million per year right now. Breece Hall certainly is looking for a pay raise, and then you have AVT, who I just said has been a really terrific player. And Matthias, I'm glad you brought that up. It's almost like you're part of my comedy skit here, and you're keeping the conversation going with the segue. Matthias is right. Don't forget the franchise tag, he says on YouTube. And I'm glad you brought this up. NFL teams are allowed a maximum of 1 franchise tag every offseason. Just 1. And I just mentioned those players. John Simpson, AVT, both of your guards are set to be free agents. Quincy Williams set to be a free agent. Breece Hall set to be a free agent. You only have 1 tag. Who's it going to? And that means other people might be hitting the market. And here's the other thing, right? So let's say the Jets have to, let's not just say this is real. In May, in under 2 months, the Jets have to make the 5th-year option decisions on Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson. Do the Jets accept all those? Everything I've heard when I talk to beat reporters and other people behind the scenes, everything I hear is that the Jets plan on exercising all of those 5th-year options. Anything can change, I suppose, but that's the current plan. So that all 3 of those guys will accept their 5th-year options, which means none of those players will be free agents next year. That's the good news, if that's true. If they decline any of those, then those players' names get added to that list I just mentioned of John Simpson, AVT, Quincy Williams, Brees Hall, and then whoever didn't get his fifth-year option extended. And if anyone, I think the only one that would be sort of up for grabs is Jermaine. That's the only one that would be sort of up in the air. I think everyone's getting accepted, but if there's one that makes you think twice and go, maybe it's Jermaine because of the injury. But let's say they accept them all, right? And they don't become free agents. Hey, Paul, they're under contract. It goes back to problem number one. I'm the Simpsons bus guy, taps the sign. It goes back to that problem. The fifth-year options in the new world that we're in here in 2025 are fully guaranteed, not just fully guaranteed for injury, fully guaranteed. And then those numbers are entirely on the books for that season. Sauce Gardner projects to get $20 million on the fifth-year option. That's how much he's supposed to get. Garrett Wilson is in the, and let me just not speak in absolutes. We can see this. I have it right here in front of me. Shout out to Over the Cap. So Sauce Gardner's fifth-year option is going to be $20.1 million, according to Overcap. Garrett Wilson's going to be $16.8 million, and Jermaine Johnson's would be $13.4 million bucks. In other words, that is nearly $50 million. Nearly $50 million fully guaranteed for those three players. So you're starting to see the problem that could potentially arise here is that those fifth-year options that the Jets accept all of them. That is $50 million automatically off the books entirely, and that's not money you can move. It's all on the cap. Now, Arsenal Jet says those aren't terrible either, but you have to then factor in everything else you're doing, whatever cap space you project to have, and then wipe $50 million off it immediately for three players. So that's a high price. This is why I say Jets. Let's look ahead here. Let's not kick the can down the road. And I heard Dave Brigger say earlier, and welcome everyone to the chat, by the way. I saw Dave Brigger said earlier that this is sort of complicated. And there it is. June the GM says the same thing. I'm glad he brought it back up. The injury concern is a major issue. So I say this. You either believe or you don't believe. Those are your two options on ABT. You either believe he will be healthy or you don't believe he will be healthy. It's one or the other. The reason this idea for this article where I'm advocating for the Jets, I didn't read this anywhere. This is my idea. I'm saying, hey, Jets, whoa, what are we doing here? I'm advocating for the Jets to extend ABT. And the reason being is because someone put out an article for Pro Football Focus. Here is the top trade asset for every team, this PFF article. AVT was the quote-unquote top trade asset for the Jets. And I'm like, huh? What? Top trade asset? Why would we trade AVT? But then it goes back to point number one. The point is that if the Jets are either going to extend him, I don't think writing it out makes sense is basically what I'm saying. Because if you write it out and then he leaves, what are you just hoping for a comp pick? That doesn't make a lot of sense. So you should either extend him now or trade him. And trading him seems ridiculous regardless of whatever the price you could potentially get there. Doesn't make sense. Again, and Arsenal Jets' 11 million average is great. Yeah, that's what it would be for ABT. Because you mentioned the injury concern, that's factored into the price, right? When you get the heated seats, when you're buying a new car at a dealership, the price goes up. But when you factor into a used car sale, whatever damage is already instilled in the car, that is worked into the price, my good sir. That is worked into the price. ABT's prior injury history is why he would be 18th on that list and not 5th or 1st. I advocate for the New York Jets. Please pay ABT. This core offensive line has a chance to be together for a long time. And hell, maybe at 7th overall, we will add to this group with Arbon Membu and have a right tackle. And then we have this stellar line. You have Olu Fashanu. He's got multiple years left, obviously, on his rookie deal. Got John Simpson. He's going to be a free agent after the year. He looks pretty good. I'd keep him. Joe Tippmann, you have him for a little bit longer before you have to pay the bag on the center. You have ABT, who, again, I advocate you pay the bag to, and then we got to figure out right tackle. As Dave Brigger says, you can't sign everyone. I guess unless you're the Philadelphia Eagles, who have signed everyone. But you get the point. ABT is one that I would bring, man. I would bring. Offensive line play is important. And AVT, again, when he stayed at one position, he stayed healthy. He's coming off a career year. He said and for folks who may not realize offensive line play, and some of the numbers, AVT's coming off his best year, an overall PFF grade and pass block grade. Pretty good there for AVT. He's coming off a wonderful year, an absolutely wonderful year. And again, if I'm the Jets, I am locking this guy down for the foreseeable future. It just makes sense. It makes sense to lock this guy in and have a core building block on the offensive line for the foreseeable future. Again, overall grade and pass block grade, career high, 25 offensive line. What are we talking about here? You lock that guy in. And there it is right there, Jared B. That's why I say you either believe or you don't believe. Jared B puts this, our moderator, on the comment section. If AVT is injury-free this year, his price will shoot way up. Damn straight he will. That's why I'm saying pay now. AVT, I'm sure he hopes that he's healthy. But if you believe in the player, like it's sort of like Sauce and some of these other guys. We'll see who, if they end up paying anyone proactively. Jets in their building have to decide, do we believe in Sauce? And if you do, you want to pay him sooner rather than later. Because if you don't believe, then another year, his stock is only going to go up. And if you don't believe it's us, his stock goes down. And do you want to sign a guy whose stock is down? Where, like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, he isn't the player that we thought he was. So if you believe in him, why wouldn't you sign him? If AVT is injury-free, his price will 1,000% shoot up. That's why if I'm the Jets, I'm like, whoa, let's get ahead of this thing and get a good deal. And if he ends up being as healthy as he's been in 2 of his 4 years in the league, then the Jets are in a phenomenal spot. Phenomenal spot. Which will give us some other conversation to be had here. Okay, let's go. I see there's a comment in here. Let me go to this. Thank you, everybody. We got 200 plus people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. Our boy Mr. Fulton here. Morning, everyone. I'm having a rough day today, and my friend from Elf, she has passed away yesterday, and I lost her sectional basketball game today, but we got 2 bronze medals. Well, Mr. Fulton, Mraz, we're thinking about you, buddy. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Our thoughts are with you and your friend and her her family. I think the thing I can express, Mr. Fulton, as you said, like try to cheer you up. I was just watching something where there was a conversation being had between 2 men in a church. And, I try not to be, anything on this show, political, this, that, or the other. I just try to call it straight down the ballpark, and you guys can swim where you'd like. I try to keep that as straight as possible. But I'll tell you this story. Where the 2 men in the church on this TV show me and my fiance are watching right now, they talk about the highs and lows of life. That every day, well, maybe not every day, but like throughout our lives, there's moments that are feeling high and great and awesome and over the top. And like, oh man, life can't get better than this. And then there are other days that are really bad. And Mr. Fulton, I've had days that are really bad to try to help relate here with bad days. I've had dark days, man, where I'm like, man, I just can't see the light. I can't see my way out of this. I don't know how this gets better from here. And it's very difficult. I'm not going to pretend like it's easy. But you just sort of sit there and you're like, you know what? Think about the good things you do have. For instance, I have 2 beautiful children. I've got a wonderful fiance. I've got all the world and reason to live in the world. Every day I get up for my children. I get up for my fiance. I want to make sure I put as many, and I describe it as acorns in the tree. I see myself as a squirrel. I've probably gotten those jokes with my teeth, but I see myself as a squirrel. And I work a lot of different jobs. I don't work one job 9 to 5. I work a lot of jobs. This YouTube show, I just doing my taxes. That's why I know. I do writing. I do radio. I do this. I do a lot of different jobs. And again, I view it as putting acorns in the tree. And my goal in life is to have as many acorns as possible. You never know what's going to happen in life. So you want to have a lot of acorns. The thing that drives me every day, Mr. Fulton, is my family. No matter what, the good days and the bad. And there have been a lot of good and there's been a lot of bad. If I'm being honest, if I'm being straight with you, it's been a lot of things. But, the old saying of pull yourself up by your bootstraps and find what drives you in life and use that as your motivation through the tough times, because they're going to be tough. No one's life is perfect. Not every day is great. I try to bring positive energy that I hope is infectious to all of you guys and can increase and make your days better and things of that nature too. And we're all here for you, Mr. Fulton. So if there's anything we could do for you, please let us know. And what I see this show as, and I've been doing this video show for 5 years. I've been doing this version of the show of Talking Jets for 12, 13 years, something of that nature. I did it in college with my college radio station, a Jet show 5 days a week for 2 hours a day. And then obviously we've had the podcast and the audio version and this and everything else. And, man, I want this show to be a distraction for people. We all have tough things in our life. And I hope that we could kind of put them aside and goof around on the show. Oh, I'm rooting for the green team and this, that, or the other, and really simplify things and escape and not think about your problems that we all have every day. Every day we have problems. We have to go through them. Some are serious problems. Some are smaller problems. You have significant problems here, Mr. Fulton. It's a sad day for you and totally understandable. A rough day. But we're all here for you, man. We're all here for you. You just got to sort of find what rallies you in your life, what drives you. For me, like I said, it's my family. If things are really bad for me, I think about my family. Think about, I gotta do this. I got to step up for my family. I got to power through for my family. So, that's how I see it, Mr. Fulton. That's how I see it, buddy. But like I said, we're all here for you. We're all here for you. And hopefully this show could give you a few laughs. Hopefully this show can give you some distractions and a smile, a laugh, whatever it is. I hope it can. Speaking of, let me do this real quick. Let me see. Where would I have put this? Okay. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I don't know if Instagram will be the quickest, but let's see. I'm going to throw something up. Here's something that cheers me up. That I saw the other day. Let me bring this up on the screen here. Yeah, here we go. Well, two things here. I have to make sure that this is muted real quick. Yeah, okay, it's on mute. Okay, good. It's going to be on mute when I bring it up. Okay, so here are my two children. On my Instagram, I put some of my personal stuff like Instagram and things of that nature. Here we go. So I'm going to throw this up. On the left here, so seeing on the screen, this is me and my son late last night. I'm getting him to do these like pull-ups to work on pulling himself up, and I have the music muted because it's the Rocky soundtrack of Hearts on Fire. So he's sort of there, kind of cranking it, and he is a beautiful boy as he's training for the next big fight. So there's my son. He inspires me, and here's another one. It's my daughter, Zariah Luna. You all know her with the wows and stuff. And look at her. She's trying to take my job over here. She's at the computer when I'm at the radio station. She's pressing buttons and getting back there. And then she was pretend talking into the mic, my fiance says. Look at this. Look at that smile. Infectious. Looking at the computer. About to take my job. Looking all over the place. Look at all this. Beautiful. So, as a aside, that's what inspires me. So hopefully that can resonate with you, Mr. Fulton. That's what I hope. Matthias and the lights inside you. There you go. Blessed be he. And on God's day, obviously. June the GM. Key is putting God first. There you go. And condolences to Mr. Fulton. So, Mr. Fulton, we're thinking about you, pal. Now, let's get a couple other things before we get to the phone lines. Let's throw this up. For Lily and Big D, let's throw this up. By the way, also, speaking of goofy stuff, my bracket is busted. Thanks, St. John's. Thanks, St. John's, for blowing it. Really appreciate it. But let me try to at least pour one out for whoever else is in our bracket challenge. Because I remember, I don't know if he still is, so maybe I'm bringing this up as terrible memories. But let me see here. I remember Fleur Lily being high in this. Is he still high in this? All right, who do we have in here? Let me see if there's anyone in our group. Excuse me. Yeah, Fleur Lily's high. He's third place. So Fleur Lily, way to kick ass in our bracket challenge. You're doing great work. You're in here. That's 2. Let me see if I recognize anybody else on the opening page here. Gangrene Catskills, whoever you are, you're here. Marcus Harper, you're on this list. And there you go. So there's a shout out to all our Boy Green Daily people that are still on page 1 after the madness of the last couple of days. But let's go back to Fleur Lily here. Would he, AVT, take $44 million? Coming off a great year, he may not want to sign and shoot for the moon, as they say. Fair point, Fleur Lily. Fair point. It takes 2 to tango, right? They could just put a contract and he automatically takes it. But that's what I'd be sort of intrigued by. Does AVT just say, hey, man, I want that financial security and let's go? Because obviously what Jared B said is true. If he has another healthy year, he's going to get a lot of money. But if he has another injured year, he's going to lose a lot of money. So it's the risk. Is AVT willing to bet on himself? Some players are. Kirk Cousins did that plenty of times in Washington and Minnesota and everywhere else and got a lot of money. And some people aren't. Is he willing to bet on himself or not? But again, not everyone is and not everyone isn't. I think it gives you a chance. My pop says someone else is on the front page. Is that true? Let me give it another discount double check here. All right. Okay. I'm scrolling. Okay. Esden Jones picks 1. My apologies. Yeah, there was definitely an accident. Yeah. My Pop's on the front page. Kicking ass and apparently going to beat me in my bracket challenge again. Wonderful. My bracket is in pieces. St. John's, you bastard. That offense was god-awful. Anywho, you guys don't care about my bracket challenge. Which makes a lot of sense. Let's care about other things. But yeah, so a good point for Lily. Would he be willing to take it? That's a good question. But if I'm the Jets, I'm aggressively pursuing it. I am aggressively pursuing it if I am the New York Jets. We've got 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, baby. Let's do this. Let's open up the phone lines here on the program. Feel free to call in. I imagine this ABT topic will be of great debate of whether or not to pay him in general. Some people are really worried about the injuries, and would ABT even take the deal? So many layers to this. We'll see. Like I said, we got a full article in the YouTube description down below. Feel free to check it out on this very topic matter. And Boy Green Daily continues after this.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets. Let's go.
Wise words from Hep, baby. Wise words from Hep. Watch Jets football with Boy Green. Here we are in the program. I'll throw this out there if anyone wants to take me up on this offer. If anywhere through the rest of the show, we get 10 memberships total. It could be one person giving 10 or a combination of people all contributing to get to 10. I'll give away 5. So I want to give back to the fans. Let's and hopefully we can, give someone else some joy. Mr. Fulton was just talking about it. Hopefully we could spread some joy too with some Boy Green Coffee Club listeners or people watching the show. So again, if at any point through the rest of the show we get 10 memberships, I will immediately gift 5. And then we'll have 15 wonderful people getting some of that action. Let's go to the phone lines here, and Heb joins us on the move.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Hey, Paul. Hey, say hi to Winnie Hep.
Hey, Winnie. Whoa. Hey, what's up, Winnie?
Yeah, Winnie. So, anyway, ABT's been a good soldier. and like let's get ahead of this, right?
That's how I feel. Again, he's been a model citizen. Again, obviously the injuries have been terrible. They seem, relatively speaking, freakish in nature. Like I haven't heard a lot of offensive linemen tearing their triceps, so that was incredibly fluky. And then obviously you have here with the Achilles, obviously it sucks. So
yeah, just cut out. Are you still there?
yes, still here. Go ahead, Hep.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm on the move. I might cut out, but I just wanted to say, he's a good soldier. I'd pay him for sure.
Okay.
I'll see you on the rebound, guys.
All right. Thanks, Hep, and thanks, Winnie. It's good to see you guys out there on a walk on this beautiful day. Blessed be he. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful day. You love to see it. Spectacular. Yeah, I would pay AVT. Again, offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. We have to pick the positions we want to invest in. I think it was Dave who said it earlier. You can't pay everyone, so you have to make business decisions. Who you keeping? Who you letting go? To me, offensive line is something I'm always going to invest in. Whether Justin Fields is your quarterback, whether Breece Hall is your running back, whether this guy. The offense, I love this speech that Harbaugh made at the NFL owners meeting a couple of years ago. It was at the coaches' breakfast. He said, offensive line is the one position that doesn't rely on anybody else. They're just out there on an island, and it's them. They help your run game. They help your pass game. It's them versus the world. The quarterback needs the offensive line before he could do his job. Wide receivers needs a quarterback, and the quarterback needs the offensive line. Running backs need the offensive line. Like every other position is codependent on another position, except for the offensive line. As one Harbaugh said, Jim Harbaugh, as he said for the Chargers, getting it across. And obviously, he invested in that with a guy like Joe Alt with the top 5 pick, despite sexy wide receivers being on the board. He went, nah, I'm going to go Joe Alt. Offensive line is incredibly important. Incredibly important. It's the foundation of anything and everything that you're going to do. So for me, ABT is a position I'm paying. He's young. I know people say you can replace guards anywhere. If you've seen Jets football over the last couple of years, we've had some years with some bad points. So here we go. My pop saying my max points are shockingly low. That's because my champion was eliminated. Thank you for bringing that up again. That felt unnecessary. Yeah, St. John's is out, so now I don't give a flying hoot about the tournament anymore, so thank you. Brutal, painful. NC Green says St. John's was due for one of those games. They're a terrible shooting team. Yesterday, caught up with them. Yeah, when their top guys aren't performing, and they weren't, no other choice, right? Luis Perez, 3 of 17. What are you going to do? That just sucks. And they were still in it. Like, they still had a chance despite that until it all sort of got away from them at the end. Yeah. And a beautiful message here by Matthias. This is not just a Jets football stream. We're here for each other. This is personal. And I 1,000% concur. This is a family. This is a community. When one of us goes through something, we're all going through something. And we're all here for each other. Brothers and sisters in arms, arm in arm, always here for each other. Absolutely. So, folks, if you ever need anything, you need a word, you need a shoulder to lean on, anything of that nature, please. If you're comfortable enough, of course, to share it on the airwaves, either by call or by message. We're all here for each other. And that means a great deal. Excuse me. So, thankful and beautiful words, Matthias. I appreciate it. Again, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We got 400 people live in the room here on a Sunday, March 23rd. Let's go back to the phone lines. June, the GM, joins us here on the program. What's up, June?
Hey, what's going on, Paul? Big shout out to the brother going through some stuff. I just lost another close friend. He was my free safety while I played corner. But in life, sometimes it gets to a point where we don't have the right to question God, although you want to question God, right? So in times like that, when there's nothing really that can console you or hold you or make you feel better, You just gotta pray. You just gotta pray to God for strength and you know, I ask him to give you the strength, the perseverance, and the peace to keep on fighting, because in life we're all going to experience death, we're all going to experience pain. God willing, we don't experience sickness, but you know, it's life's a bitch, bro. Like in the words of AZ, and then you die, you know. So you just gotta embrace every single day with love and trust God that it's gonna be a good one, you know.
Amen. Amen.
Before I'll get into the Elijah Vera-Tucker, that St. John's game was very interesting, right? Because
Yeah.
Rick Pitino had his best player on the bench.
Yeah.
Because he was 3 for 17. Okay, now let me get this
Terrible. Yeah.
straight. Now, I just want to ask you something, Paul.
Sure. Yeah.
Without the kid RJ, St. John's is not there right now.
Right. He's the Big East Player of the Year. Yeah, of course. Right.
Right. So you mean to tell me if Garrett Wilson is having a bad game, 3 drops with 2 minutes in the game, did you pull Garrett Wilson out and sit him down because he dropped 3 balls, or you believe that he's going to show up and be the player that he's been the rest of the year? So
yeah, I'm throwing him the ball again. Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing is, this kid, they were down by 2 with around 4 or 5 minutes in the game, and you got your best player on the bench, and you're gonna tell me because you're big, Mr. Rick Pitino, that you know I'm sorry, that was a bad decision. If that's the biggest player of the year, if that's the best player on your team, I don't give a damn. He's 1 for 30. Okay, get in the game. Do what you do. I would have told him, do what you do. Let's go. Down 2, and your best players on the bench looking like what? Back home. Yeah. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of people saying, who am I to question Rick Pitino? I'm questioning Rick Pitino. That was a bad move. I'm putting my all-star in the damn game.
Yeah, if I was the coach, again, to your point, Rick Pitino is a legend in so many regards, but I'm instilling confidence in a young man, because obviously you go 3 of 17 and you're all shell-shocked. I'd look at him and say, exactly what you just said, June, get your ass back out there. We are going to live or die with what happens here, but I'll tell you this. If we're going to die, we're going to do it with our best player on the court, so get your ass out there, because then you're left with, when you lose in the way that they did, that it was close and then fouls and everything else, and it spun out of control. Who knows the next time St. John's is going to be in position? This is the first time they won a tournament game in like a cajillion years. First time they won the Big East regular season title since 85. The first time they won the conference tournament since 2000. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know how many opportunities you're going to have. You got to live and die with everything you got. So, yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, it would have made sense for him to be out there.
The weird thing about it, as you were watching the game, St. John's, when you look at Arkansas, they had players step up and make big shots. St. John's had nobody making shots when they needed it. Put the best player in the damn game. He gives you your best opportunity. And I just don't get that. I think that's when ego, you know, that persona that I'm going to teach him a lesson comes into play. He got outcoached by Calipari. Let's just call a spade a spade. He got outcoached by Calipari, but it wasn't that hard to get outcoached when you sit your best player on the bench. Anyway,
self-sabotage. Yeah.
Right. So AVT, this is probably one of the toughest decisions this regime's going to have to make.
Okay.
Because you're talking about, like you said, a player when he's playing looks elite, looks top 5 at his position.
Yeah.
But then he's had major injuries. These ain't
like
simplistic injuries he's had. I'll make him a decent offer.
All right.
I'll make him a decent offer. But this is the thing. If Tucker's smart, I bet on myself, right? He says, nah, I'm good with that bread. I'm gonna bet that I'm healthy and play out the year. I know Aaron Glenn really, I know Aaron Glenn knows that the offensive line is the most important position, because when he did the press conference, you notice he was talking highly about Detroit's offensive line, which to me is the best in the league. Dumb and Philly. You know, so I know he knows the importance of what AVT can bring to the Jets. The thing is, if you can't throw the bag at somebody who's missed the amount of time that he's missed. I get it. He's moved around to different positions. But still, injuries are injuries, right?
So you'd be hesitant.
I give him a decent offer. I give him something that's respectable, but I don't expect to accept it.
So is mine too rich? So the offer that I've thrown out there in the universe is a $44 million deal for 4 years. It's $11 million per, which puts him 18th among the highest paid guards in football.
That's a great deal, but I don't think he'll take that, Paul.
Yeah, that's fair. He might not.
Yeah. If I'm his agent, I say the hell to the no. 15 mil a year, maybe he takes. Maybe he says, okay, 3 years, 45, 47, sure. That range. I think maybe he takes something like that. It's tough, but I know one thing.
All right.
I like the depth that they're growing on that line. I guarantee you, I have a strong feeling that offensive and defensive line are two of the positions in the draft that we might get multiple players. I think it's that important to Glenn. And you said it yourself. When you have a good offensive line, you can win a lot of games.
Damn straight. Damn straight. Look at the Jets. Their heyday of glory that we all continue to harken back to since we have no other choice to look at anything else was 2009, 2010. The bread was laid down on the ground for the offensive line, and that opened up the running game. That opened up the passing game. We have not had an offensive line like that since, and shoot, we haven't won since. Coincidence? I think not.
That's when we had, you remember when we had Thomas Jones?
Of course, TJ.
Man, I used to like Thomas Jones on the Jets, man.
His 3-year run,
he just got better and better.
100%. Let me just do this just because I want to see it. I want to, Mr. Fulton just talked about, bringing positivity and stuff. I just want to see it because I remember the 3-year run in my head so well. Thomas Jones, we traded for him from the Chicago Bears. Here are Thomas Jones' 3 years with the Jets. He ran for 1,100 yards, 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards. Somehow in 2007, I can't believe he only had 1 rushing touchdown. That's crazy. But then he had 13 and 14 rushing touchdowns the following 2 seasons. He appeared in all 16 games in all 3 of those seasons. He was an Iron Man. He was a producer. I mean, that's one of the greatest sneaky acquisitions of all time. And Thomas Jones was the first big player interview I ever did in my life. So wow. I owe Thomas Jones everything. So Thomas Jones is awesome, a legend. I know my father loves him because his brother Julius, another really talented running back, played for the Cowboys for a long time. So great Jones family. I love Thomas Jones. And yes, Jared B saying Thomas Jones, the actor he is. He was in, I think it's Luke Cage and a couple of other shows. So salute to one Thomas Jones. Yeah, he's spun it off and has continued his wonderful exploits, which does not surprise me for what he put into his NFL career. And I don't know if he ever gets into the Hall of Fame. My gut would say no, unfortunately. I think he's the Hall of very good just on the outside. He's got some wonderful numbers. We'll see if that ever changes. But nonetheless, I love Thomas Jones. That run with the Jets is one I'll never forget. What's that?
When we really think about the history of our organization, we were always at our best when we played down and dirty. When we lined up and said, yo, you know what we're going to do? We're going to come here. We're going to run the rock all game. And when you look at the roster now, we don't look like we're going to be a top 5 passing team. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe something happens. But we look like this year, that's what Glenn's aiming for. Hey, guess what? We got a running quarterback you got to worry about. We got a plethora of good running backs you got to worry about. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to run the rock. And we need to.
Yeah, and that should be the exciting thing. And folks, I can't make you any false promises about what this passing game is going to look like. I got no bleeping clue. I have high hopes, but don't we all? We're for Tanner Angstrom. We'll see what happens. What I do know is this running game is going to be a bad, bad man with Breece Hall, and you have Justin Fields, and you have the dedication from Aaron Glenn, AG, this old school guy. They're going to pound the rock some more, and then pound the rock again. There's going to be a lot of that going on, which I think is going to be great to have an identity. For a long time, Drew, we haven't had an identity. To your point, going back to we had ground and pound. We haven't had any other name for anything because we haven't had an identity. We got away from that, and we just sort of pish-posh. Oh, this game we're passing. All right, this game we're running. There was no identity, and identity sets the tone where everyone knows what it is.
You know what was one of my favorite Jets memories? And it's just, we haven't had many. But one of my favorites has been Sean Green
Oh yeah,
ends
baby.
the game on the pass, baby, and then lays down in the end zone and says, "Good night." That's what I want back. And you know what? Don't be surprised if the kid Allen has at least 800 yards rushing this year. Don't be surprised.
That'd be great.
I think him and Hall with your Fields, that is something to get excited about, because I believe we're going to have one of the top 5 to 10 rushing teams in the NFL. And we need to, if we want to make the playoffs or sniff the playoffs, we have to be a top 5 or 10 rushing team in football.
I think there's no question about it. They have to be an elite rushing team, because that will be the backbone of this offense. And quite frankly, open up the play action passing game that they so desperately wanted to run last year, but couldn't for whatever reason. And I think it is going to lay the groundwork moving forward for this Jets team. June, as always, I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much. Appreciate you calling in. I see a bunch of comments in here and a variety of things. Jared B. pouring one out for Leon Washington. He was coaching not too long ago, FSU guy. By the way, you may not know this. Shout out to my guy, Jericho Kochery, longtime Jet. He is the head coach at Limestone University. He will be joining us for a live draft show next month. I can't wait. He's going to tell his draft day story with the Jets. He hired Leon Washington. Leon Washington is actually his running backs coach now. I love seeing former Jets all together. Leon was here as a special teams assistant. He was an incredibly intelligent player. Makes a lot of sense. But yes, so Leon is still coaching. He's now gotten into positional, which who knows more about the running back position than when Leon Washington, which is pretty cool. So shout out to Leon, who's down there at Limestone University. I love that as well. Jared B giving a shout out to Chris Ivory. What a nasty beast of a dude, man. A bad man. I will never forget. I think it was that Dolphins game where he broke like 12 tackles and got to the end zone. He was just an angry, violent runner. I mean, he was a freak. I appreciate all these thoughts and comments coming in. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Indy Jets now joins us. What's up, Indy?
Good morning, BG.
Okay.
Hey, my thoughts on AVT is this: why not we offer him a contract that's more of a team friendly contract, something that if you just on a guaranteed money that would be just across the board average, but throw in these bonuses like they did with Tyron Smith.
Oh, the incentive package. Okay.
The incentive package, and say, okay, you're guaranteed a pretty decent base salary. But if you're playing 14 games, we give you a $3 million, $4 million bonus. Now that bumps him up to that higher level. So if he's playing 7, he plays 17 games, you get a $5 million bonus for that year. And you do you do that for a 3 or 4 year contract. And say, okay, if you do that every year, you're going to get a $5 million bonus every year. You got a decent guaranteed money. But now, if you're going to play 17 games, that bonus then brings you up to a level in that top 5.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of a perfect balance. If he gets decent money now for being, putting it all together, okay, we put that aside. And then if you believe, hey, AVT, we believe in you. That's why we're putting in the contract. And if you believe you can reach the things that you say, then okay, great. It's going to work out for everyone. You're going to get your decent bag that we all agreed on. Plus, you do all the things you say you're going to do. Boom. You get your money you're looking for. It works out for everybody.
Yeah, and at the end of the year, whatever that dollar amount is, if that puts him in that top 5, whatever, whatever he's looking for, that's all he's looking for is at the end of the day, the end of the season, did he make the money that he wanted? And if he got hurt, the Jets make it's a team friendly deal, where it's not going to hurt us as bad.
Protects us, right? Yep.
It protects us, and it also gives him the opportunity to play. If he plays 17 games, boom, AVT, you're in the top 5. You made it.
Yeah.
I like that. That's my thoughts, but I don't write the check, so thank God.
Yeah, right. Not our money, but I like it. I think that's a good way that it protects a team, gives AVT everything that I'm sure him and his agent would be looking for to say, hey, we don't want to agree to a team-friendly deal, and then AVT does the awesome stuff, but he doesn't get the paid requisite money for it. I could totally understand that.
Yeah, so that's my two cents on AVT. Now on your draft party,
Yeah.
will you be doing call-ins on your draft party?
Yes, I will. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So
People and guests. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be calling in. I'll be calling in from Jake's
Oh,
draft.
cool. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. We'll give
please
you a
do.
little live action from
nice.
from Jake's draft party.
Oh, that'd be dope. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, for folks that missed it, again, April 24th. That's Thursday night, the first round of the draft. I'll be going on live at 8:00 at June the GM and Taskin draft party. What the hell? Yeah, so I'll explain it. Yeah, again, Thursday, April 24th, the first round of the draft. I'll be coming on live at 8:00. We'll be live for the entire first round, so it's going to be some of the ballpark of 4+ hours of live coverage. We'll be talking about all the picks, but obviously there's a Jet slant with everything we got going on here and reacting to anything other crazy. What if the Jets trade back into the first round and get a quarterback like some people think is going to happen? Whatever's going to happen. And throughout it, we're going to have all these guests. Jericho Cotchery is already confirmed, so he's going to come on some point during the night, tell his draft day story. We'll have a call-in line for people to just call into the show, and other guests will just be sporadically joining us throughout the night. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That'll be awesome. I look forward to being at Jake's party and also probably live streaming you at the same time.
Cool.
I can multitask.
There you go. Yeah, I love it, Indy. So yeah, please do. I would love it, and call from the shop. That'd be a lot of fun. So we'll be mixing it in. Like I said, we'll be having guests. We'll have a call-in line, and we'll just sort of have a fun show, and we'll be watching the draft. So I don't obviously have, just to let everybody know, you may want to do a double dip. June says he'll be calling live from NYC, so we don't have the draft rights, so I can't put it on the screen. But what I will do is, as it comes in, we'll play the draft chimes and give you all the latest. I have a scrolling ticker for all the players that are getting drafted, so we can kind of keep track of everything and all that nature. So I'm going back to the phone lines in just a moment, but for Lily and Big D, he just gifted 10 memberships, baby, to the Gosh Darn Boy Green Coffee Club. Boom, shaka, laka. There we go, baby. And we've already updated the big board for Lily. You now have 60 raffle tickets so far this month. That is third place on our list, or fourth place. I guess I can't count. Math is an issue for me. Fourth place behind Jimmy Jets, Austrian Jets fan, A-Step 10, all on there as well. But we appreciate your contributions for Lily and Big D. That's a lot of raffle tickets. Okay. And look at that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So we were just talking about Mr. Fulton earlier. For Lily and Big D, one of your 10 gifted memberships, the first one just went to Mr. Fulton. Mr. Fulton, I hope that makes your day a little bit better, pal. That's the gods clearly speaking to us to, throw a little something in there. So I hope it makes your day a little bit better. Mr. Fulton, I just want to say, because I see you're continuing to comment in saying you're having a hard time missing your friend. No matter what we say or do or getting a membership or what have you, it's not going to make everything totally better. It's going to suck. And there's a phrase they use a lot in the military. It's called embrace the suck. And that's a little blunt and direct, but, work that in with your life. You have friends and everyone that's helping you, feel better, but it's not going to just completely be an antidote and cure it. A little bit of it is going to suck. And to me, this is sort of a weird way to say this, but I think the suck makes the other things great. You know what I mean? Like, that's what people ask me all the time. Paul, why are you a Jets fan? Good Lord. You chose this life? And I'm like, well, when it sucks, everyone's trashing and doing all these things, but eventually they're going to turn it around. And when they do, it's going to be pretty sweet. And so that's how I feel. The lows in life makes the highs in life to me even better. You just we're all riding the roller coaster, baby. So, Mr. Fulton, a big salute. Thank you, Fleur Lily, for gifting 10 memberships, and one of those going to Mr. Fulton. NYJ Dave gets a membership. Party with Peg and Artie. T-Town Jet, Franklin Thung, Jersey Jet, Mahar Khalil, Cactus Johnny, Gangrene Catskills, Sharp _ Instincts, all getting Boy Green Coffee Club memberships, and I am a man of my word. I said if we got 10 memberships at some point throughout the rest of the show, I'd give away 5. memberships, and I'm doing that right bleeping now, baby. Here are 5 more memberships to all the great people out in our audience, baby. Thank you for Lily for that. And yes, 5 memberships. Let's go. 5 more, baby. Paul Boy Green Esden Jr. Let's hit him with it. Let's go. Let's hear those shots. Oh, yeah, baby. You love to bleep and see it. Hopefully we're getting some of these coming up in the 2025 season. Live from the parking lot? All right, let's read those 5 new members, and we'll come back to the phone lines here. The 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club are as follows here. Shout out to S, Dan Philcox, Jet Life 321, Mr. Flowers, and Jerry Moore. You guys are all now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. Good Lord, it's starting to rain memberships in here from the high heavens. Good Lord, have mercy. T-Town Jet jumping in on the action. All right, here we go. I got to get all my challenges ready. MFC gifting a membership here on the channel. Good Lord, it's hard to keep track. Okay, MFC's membership went to our screen's jumping all over the place here. MFC's membership went to Darnell Towns, and T-Town Jet, your membership went to James Kennedy. There you go. Let's go. Oh, good Lord. How are we going to keep up with all this? The memberships keep flowing. MFC gifting a membership here on the show. Let's bleep and go. Indy Jets gifting 5 memberships here on the program. What in the world? What is going on here? Here we bleep and go, baby. We got to keep track of all these gosh darn raffle tickets that are coming in here, baby. Okay, we got a lot of memberships to read here. Again, shout out to everybody that's gifted memberships left and right here. All right, let me catch up on everybody here. All right, here we go. All right, so we did T-Town Jets salute, MFC salute, MFC. Michael Duramo, MFC, gave that one away. Indy Jets gave away 5. That's Infrared Jets, Grove Pete, Mr. Roberts, Astral is off the chain, Kyle Clifton. Hey, there we go. MFC gifting another one that just went to Mr. Chill 211 King. There's another membership coming through. Man, okay, we have sparked something here, folks. Okay, there we go. Keep them coming, baby. All these raffle tickets I am adding up for our contest, baby, so keep those flowing. All right, let's head back to the phone lines, baby. And we've got FL Phil 98 Philium here on the program. Good Lord.
Good morning, Paul. Man, that was a hell of a run. You never know. It seems like that's how it goes, right? Sometimes it just, the floodgates open, man.
That's the funniest part. That's what I love. You know, when it's orchestrated, like, hey, everybody, start gifting these, but then it's just, boo, 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 boo. It's like, oh, hey, who now? Yeah, it's the best.
It goes back to, like you keep saying, this is a family and everybody kind of feeds off. And that's definitely seemed like a little divine intervention, and Mr. Fulton got a membership.
Come on, man. This is random. People that think that like this is some sort of WWE show, and I just said, hey, you two, get one for Mr. Fulton. I don't know. It's completely random, man, but maybe not random. So thank you to the gods above. That super cool. And again, we're thinking about Mr. Fulton, so that's amazing.
Yeah, maybe we need to superimpose a halo over your head there or something.
Hey, yeah, there you go. That could happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, listen, as far as AVT goes, I'm the guy who wrote, it's a business and, you got to make business decisions. It was me that wrote that.
Okay.
We fall in love with players, and I get it. And, you name guys all the time that, you want to keep. And I get it, There's 2 things I think we get lost on a little bit. The salary cap goes up every year. Yeah. But like, if you got too many guys that you're paying, it really becomes difficult to keep the guys you need to keep.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you got to be really selective about the guys you give the bag. And we obviously, I think we all agree if there's one guy we need to pay, if we can get him to sign now, is Garrett.
No question.
I think every other name that comes up has got to be, all right, what's the league average? What's a fair deal for him? Mm-hmm. Do we put in escalators? Now, escalators are great in that they save you money now, and they don't count on the cap until and unless. But it's just like void years, right? They throw on these void years. By the way, did you know that there's void years on Fields' contract?
Right? Oh yeah, I heard about that. I haven't seen how far they run. Is it all 4 years?
It goes to 29, I believe.
Oh,
okay. So and again, what does void year do for you? It lessens the cap hit if you move on from a player. It kind of spreads that out. But again, if you got 10 guys with void contracts, eventually the freaking chickens come home, baby, and that's where all the dead money comes from. Yeah. All right. Now, I would love to use, and this is, I'm sorry, it's a business. I would love to use his injury past against him a little bit in negotiations and try and get AVT on an extension, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. And believe me, I believe that you got to keep good offensive linemen. We had, DeBrickashaw and Mangold for years. I want to have at least 2 or 3 of my offensive linemen on long-term deals if I can at all times.
Yeah.
And when the next tackle gets paid, I got a guy that by comparison is cheap, right? But we forget every year there are thousands of college players that come out, and we can scout our ass off. There's going to be dozens of them that are going to end up being really good NFL players. And you can't have a Pro Bowler at every position, and you can't pay everybody. You got to be extremely selective about the guys you pay. And then guess what? As soon as I sign a guy, if I sign Garrett Wilson for 5 years, you know what I'm looking to do in the next 2 years? Find a guy, find his potential replacement in the draft.
Yeah.
Okay. The 3 to 5 guys that on every team you got to pay: the quarterback, the wide receiver, the shutdown corner, the pass rusher, the left tackle, now increasingly right tackle. Every time I've got 3 or 4 of those guys on relatively long-term 3 to 5 year deals, and after that second year, I'm trying to, if I can find a guy to replace him, I'm trying to constantly replace those guys so I don't have to pay them again. Right. Or that I can, or if I feel really strong, I got a replacement, I can trade him a year early instead of a year late. All right, and recoup some draft capital.
Yeah.
But so I'm just saying, I think we get a little too wrapped up in this guy. We got to keep this guy. We got to keep this guy. BG, you bleed green. You got 5 guys every time you talk about this. There's 5 guys you want to pay.
Yeah.
You can't do it. All right.
Yeah.
But I would definitely we're going to be talking about Tippmann soon. We're going to be talking about before we know it, we're going to be talking about Fashanu too. Right?
Unbelievable.
We're going to have to work out something with Simpson, right? You can't have 5 guys making $15 million a year on the offensive line. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So when the time comes, you're gonna if you work out a long-term deal with one, maybe you got to try and work out a short-term deal with another. Right? Or you got to be looking to replace them at all times, right? So all I'm really trying to say is, as far as AVT goes, I would love to get him on an extension while we have leverage.
Yes, of course.
All right. So, and if you put in escalators, if that's something you got to do, that's better than giving him $15 million a year.
I agree. I agree. That part I don't think I'm willing to do. Right? I can't remember. We've had a few callers here, but Indy talked about giving escalators, or someone else talked about $15 million per year. Like you could give him that.
Yeah, June said $15 million a year, and that he probably wouldn't accept less than that. Well, I don't know, and there's only one way to find out. But I will tell you. I'll tell you this: if the guy insists on $15 million a year, he's not getting it from me.
No, absolutely not. No.
And it was the escalators or bonuses is the word that he used. There's a lot of creative ways to get guys paid. And as long as you can keep your eye on the overall cap over the next couple of years, try and avoid all of that dead money. That's where we made a lot of mistakes. We got to try and avoid the dead money in the future. Void years create dead money. contracts that are front end loaded so that you can give a guy a huge signing bonus. It's a 3-year deal, but they put in 2 void years so you can make, it a 5-year payout. So it's a $15 million signing bonus. It counts $3 million a year for 5 years instead of $5 million a year for 3 years. So they do that to stay under the cap in the short term. But if you did that, let's say you signed 5 guys onto contracts like that right now, in a few years, you got all kinds of dead money.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just, it's capology. It's really not that complicated. It really isn't. We make it sound a lot more complicated than it is. But what it does make you do is make hard choices. And the first hard choice I'm making is Breece Hall. I love Breece. And Chu mentioned, it's not just about his running ability. He's a good pass catcher and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a dozen running backs in the draft every freaking year. I understand what happened with Barkley and Henry, and you can come up with some of those guys. But by and large, 3 to 5 years is a window for a running back. As soon as I got a guy that I'm loving right now on a rookie contract, I'm trying to replace him.
So it sounds like, Phil, you may be in the ballpark of, again, I guess Saquon may be the most prevalent example, is he gets his rookie contract, you franchise tag him, you just run, and I don't think the Giants did it multiple times, but other ones, you could just franchise tag him to death. And really, if you play your cards right, especially on a first-round pick, right, you get him for 5 years. I know Breece is not a first-round pick. You get him for 5 years. You're allowed to franchise tag him for 3. That third time in a row is really expensive, so then you could probably franchise tag him twice. You could show up for 7 years, you slap him on the ass, say, thank you very much for your service, and you'll allow someone else to go pay that next big bag.
Absolutely right concept, absolutely wrong position. I would never use a franchise tag on a running back. There's too many other key positions. If I got a guy like a Garrett that I want to sign and we can't come to a number. That's a guy I'm going to franchise tag because I don't want to lose him yet. I want to see if I can work out something. Right. So if I can't get a deal signed, that's a guy I'm going to franchise tag. If I got a corner that I just can't afford to pay, but I don't want to lose him right now, I'm going to try and replace him in the draft and I'm going to franchise tag him. There's going to be what I consider far more key positions that I'm going to use my franchise tags on. I would never do that with a running back. Now, what I would do with a running back is, a Breece Hall, for example, after his second or third year, if I can get him to take a 3-year deal at team-friendly money, it gives him some security, and I got a good running back for 3 more years. That I'll do. But I'm not paying. I'm never going to give the bag to the running back. And the only way I would use a franchise tag on a running back is if I'm really set and I love my team as is, and I got a franchise tag to use, and I got a Breece Hall, then maybe. But it would
just because it's so cheap. That's but to your point, right? There are other positions to pay, so you have to have the flexibility of not being forced to use the tag on somebody else. That's the intrigue of it's shitty for them, right? But it's the ABT thing, right? Buddy, look at the resume here. You've had some injuries. Like, but. Sorry, pal. We're going to have to factor that into the price. Same thing for running back. I'm sure they don't love being franchise tag at the prior evaluation. Obviously, the number's going up now with Saquon getting more money, Christian getting more money. But it was $10 million per year in Saquon's heyday here of the franchise tag. $10 million per year, chump change. Great. Thank you. Again, the running backs probably don't appreciate it, but it's good for the team.
I hate it, and I do. Believe me, I understand. There's a lot of people that really fight that. These guys go out there. It's like 30 car wrecks in a game, and I understand all of that, man. I really do. But guess what? There's guys who break their ass in a warehouse every day, and they get paid $10 an hour. Life is not fucking fair. No. All right. There are 3 huge pieces, in my opinion, to running the football team. Number 1, obviously, is coaching. All right. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is, encompasses everything from the general manager to the scouts and all that, is finding talent. And I think the third biggie is you got to manage your salary cap well. Mm-hmm. You got to know who to pay, who you can finagle, who you can get a team-friendly deal. Timing is everything. All right. And when and who to use your franchise tag on. And to me, I get it. People are going to freak. I know people love Breece. So do I. All right. But if I got to make a choice and there's the last thing on my priority list out of the so-called talent positions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is running back. That's my last priority because I believe I could grab a guy in the draft this year, and even if he's not as good, if I got my offensive line and I got my wide receiver and my tight end, can I get by with just another running back? And you never know where the next star comes from. It doesn't have to be a Genti. It doesn't have to be a guy everybody thinks is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my take, brother.
All right, I appreciate it. Philium, thank you so much for joining us on the show. A lot to chew on there. Philium, and he was getting praised in the streets, in the comment section. Everyone's loving the Phil takes, including, here it is. It's from my father. There you go. Hop on Pop here. Philium is spot on. Every team consists of balanced, homegrown, draft, free agents. It's the way of the league. We cannot keep everyone, unfortunately. Again, the nature of the beast there. Let's also do this. There was more memberships to be gifted. Here you go. Throw those up on the screen, baby. Let's go.
Here's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
New members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, thanks to Neil Sr., baby. OG Jets fan, 1985. Coochie. Phillies Limp Noodle, Gary Page, Bobble, Nick, Burn, Keith Kirkwood, Jets fan for life, 80 Pugnut, and James Cafiro, all getting members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, thanks to the legendary Neil Sr., who joined us right now on the show. What's up, Neil? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I can't believe I had to give a gifted membership to Philly Noodles. He always trashes me. Can we switch that one? No, I'm kidding.
To be honest, I actually think that might be a troll job. It's Philly's Limp Noodle, so I actually believe it's the troll account of Philly. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to tell you, great show this morning. June the Jet. You know, I like June the GM. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Very, very good takes. Indy Jet, I love the take, man. You know, I'm all about incentives. You know, you got to start incentivizing these guys, and AVT is the perfect example. He's the guy that needs to get, with his injury history, we need to put some kind of clauses in there that this guy plays, and you know, at least look, if you have that conversation with a guy, and I would have the conversation with Sauce right out of the gate. I'd say, look, Sauce, you had a bad year last year.
Yeah,
we want to lock you up. We'll pay you this, but, you know, if you want it. And it's really hard for these guys to argue because really everybody on the team had a down year last year. I mean, you really can't point to anybody on the roster and say, wow, they really had a much better year than the year before, except maybe Will McDonald.
Yeah, Will did. John Simpson, I guess, did. John Simpson had a wonderful year. Not with the Jets the year before. It was with a different team, the Ravens. But, yeah, he had a good year. Yeah, but very few. The list is very short.
Give me a name. Everybody on defense had a down year. Sherwood didn't, obviously, and he got
Sherwood.
Quincy had an off year. Quentin Williams had an off year. Everybody had an off year. You cannot point to anybody on that defense and say, wow, they had a better year than the year before. So this is a time you could go in and start really pounding these guys and saying, look, and at least when you have that conversation, Paul, player goes out, you know, feeling like you don't want guys coming into camp, you know, yapping and yammering on the side, having their rages, you know what I mean? You want to get guys all positive. So if I'm Muji and if I'm Aaron Glenn, I call every one of them in and say, look, this is it. We want you to play like, you got your pants on fire. I watched your tape. It wasn't great last year. What do you want to do? We got money here to sign you. We'll give you an extension, but it's going to be this right now. And at least the guy walks out of there saying, hey, you know what? I really did suck last year. Maybe you know what I'm saying? You got to give these the thought process of we want you, but, you know, Brees had an off year too. I mean, he
did
last year. I mean, not that it wasn't his fault that, you know, three guys were in the backfield, you know, grabbing
every play. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, from that perspective, it's that. Now, I'm not a draft. I say this all. And
right.
Another thing, I love you guys on this show. There's not a lot of flash. There's a lot of fact. on the Paul Green Show. We got a lot of knowledgeable Jet fans, Florida Phil, all your guys, easy. These are the real guys here that get up. We're the guys that go in the mines and start hammering for coal. That's us.
Yeah, there you go. Blue collar, baby. Sure. Yeah.
These are the tailgate guys.
Yeah.
I really like the takes that everybody puts on in the show. And I have one. Everybody says I always have 13, but I got one. We have a lot of young guys on this team. I think our average age is the youngest in the league right now.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. We really need one or two free agents. This is what I focus on. Everybody focuses on the draft. I like focusing on free agency because I don't watch college football. I'm sick to my stomach over my Johnnies yesterday. I'm a St. John's alumni.
I predicted them to win the whole thing, and my neighbor did too. Brutal. Bracket busted.
Jesus.
Sad.
Well, Calipari is, it's got Pepino's number. That it's really, and that goes to show you, right? Mm-hmm. There's two coaches that are the best college coaches probably ever to strap on a suit. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And two guys took very average teams and turned them into spectacular teams. So that's what good coaching could do.
Salute.
When you have a coach, it could turn mediocre players into great players. And let's just hope that Aaron Glenn is more of a disciple and shows his Parcellian traits than we've had in a long time. I mean, we're going to have discipline. We're going to play smash mouth. I like it. I'm much more positive. I was really down in the dumps after we lost Rodgers. I got to be honest with you. It tore my heart out. But look, it's onward and upward. And I'm always, you cut these veins, it's going to be green. And when your friend there was talking about negative things, I always go back to this. One day, and I don't care that we suck. It stinks that we suck every year. Okay. It really does.
Yeah, sure. Right.
But I got to tell you something right now.
Sure. Yeah.
When we go down Broadway in that ticker tape parade one day.
Ooh, baby.
Okay. There will be one person in front of that ticker tape parade. That's going to be me, Joe B, Ira in Staten Island, Fireman Ed. We're going to be leading the charge. And I want to, and I have no embarrassment. I will say this to you. I put my fandom up with every one of those guys. I've been to many games. I haven't missed a snap since I'm 8 years old, preseason, postseason. I never go to parties or weddings on Jet game Sundays.
Hell no.
I hear people say, I mean, you got to be kidding me. So we are going to be there, guys, one day. And when it happens, man, it is going to be sweet as sugar. It's going to be knees on the ground, hands in the air, looking to the heavens, beer in our face. It's going to be the most exciting day of our lives. Okay, so we're ready for the ride. It's going to take, obviously, we have another bump in the road here. This is not our Super Bowl year, maybe. Again, crazy things have happened. But we are, one thing I do know, in all the years I've watched this team, and I think June said it, we're always better when it's ground and pound and we're dirty and our uniform. No finesse, no bullshit where we're predicted to be the best team, where every time the expectations are great for this team, we shit the bed. When it's not, that's when we shine. We always shine when it's the worst. It's crazy, but that's the way it is. So we'll be there. And, so when I said about the young, the two guys I would like to get in free agency, I mentioned it on Jake's show. Keenan Allen.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'd like to pick up, 70 catches, 700 yards, 7 touchdowns last year. He played hurt 2 years ago, but, he played 15 games, I think, last year. And this is a guy that's a chain mover. And he's really, really good in the red zone. Okay, really always open. Keenan Allen and that
7-11
is always open, right, Paul?
Yeah,
always open.
Great route
runner. He's a great compliment to Garrett, and he brings that veteran experience into the team. I heard some news that we're looking at, Stephon Diggs. I know he's visiting.
Patriots. Yeah.
What do you think of that? What do you think of Diggs?
I think Stephon Diggs is sort of a drama queen coming off a torn ACL. I'm not sure if we're looking for, we're being specific on what guys we're bringing in the locker room. I'm not exactly sure Stephon Diggs is number one on my list, but I mean, we need wide receiver.
I heard he's a good locker room guy. He's supposed to be a good locker room guy, Paul.
I hope so.
But you're right. He would be a distraction, I think.
Who's guy number 2 for you? So you have Keenan Allen. Who's your
Calais Campbell is the other one I want.
Calais.
I know that's going to create. I know he left us at the altar.
He did.
He shit on us a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me tell you something. Calais Campbell, 39 years old last year, played more snaps than Quentin Williams.
That's crazy.
Okay?
Yeah.
And 5 sacks, like 10 tackles in the backfield, huge disruptor.
Forever
great
productive.
In the run game.
Yeah.
And you might be able to get him for a bargain. He's still out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a guy that certainly would lift Quentin's game up. And there's another guy, by the way, if you watch Miami last year, and the defensive sideline, okay, he is a leader, man. He is a guy that people look up to. And when he's smacking you in the helmet, that guy is a monster, okay?
Yeah.
You're going to stand up to him? You walk up to him and get in his face? The guy towers over everybody.
Yeah, let me
so those are my 2 guys I think we could get for a bargain that would plug 2 big needs. Defensive line, wide receiver. Now we go into that draft with a little more swag, not having to be desperate. And, what is Keenan Allen going to get? I think, what's his name? Jake told me the what was the other wide receiver? Just went to Baltimore for $5 million.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Look, Keenan Allen and Hopkins are kind of similar. You know what I mean?
Very much so.
$5 million for Keenan Allen, I'd be tickled to death to have a nice, savvy veteran in there with 700 yards. Look, we all talked last year about Roma Dunze, right?
Yeah.
He had a better year than Roma Dunze last year.
He did. Keenan did,
3 touchdowns, 6, So let's get a guy like this for a $5 million smack of $5 million. Look, I'm tired of talking about our salary and money. We're in a big market here.
Yeah.
Okay? Money should be the last thing this team talks about. Okay. Money we spend, the money this team gets, oh my God. I am not embarrassed to spend Woody Johnson's goddamn money. I'll go into the booth, I'll take his goddamn checkbook and run out the door with it. So I don't give a shit about money. Let him spend everything he has. I don't care, man. We need to get in the playoffs, baby. Let's go. That's it.
It is. I love Neil. Calais, by the way, 6'8", 307 pounds, a former Walter Payton Man of the Year, leader is all heaven. And again, he just has this game that if he can play as long as he wants to play, man, and still be insanely productive. I love Calais. He's dumped us a few times. You've been talking to him. Hey, Calais, you want to link up this year? No, I'm good. Calais, this year? No, I'm good. So maybe this is finally the year that Calais comes with. He's been rumored for many, many years. But I would love Calais. Great man, great human being, great player. Has been doing it for a long time. So pour one out for Calais. And hey, Keenan Allen. I thought speaking of guys who left us at the altar, reportedly Keenan had a chance to come to the Jets, but he picked the Bears. I had heard that from some Chicago people out there. That's what I heard in the streets. So another guy that dumped us. But hey, you know what? Bygones be bygones. We'll see. FL Phil 98 gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership, baby. That went to 25. Hey, that was my jersey number in high school. Boy Green 25. That's where it comes from. FFL 98, 7 raffle tickets so far this month. Thank you so much. And thank you for the surge of memberships, guys. That's cool. It helps support the show. It means the world. Again, a couple of plugs as we're on our way out. And thank you, Phil. Thank you, Phil, for joining us here on the show. A couple of things. So our draft show, again, you guys can see it. If you go right now on youtube.com/boygreen25, you go to the live section. It's the pre-made link is already there, and you can set a reminder. It says the Boy Green Live Draft Show. You see me with my arms crossed, the draft behind me, and all these logos and other things there. You can go to the live section right now, go over to there, like the video, and set a reminder for the video because of all the craziness of the draft. You could forget. We'll be live. Again, we're coming on at 8 o'clock. Draft starts right at 8 o'clock, too, and we'll be on for the full draft. So it'll be a 4+ hour show. Obviously, there'll be a lot of fun guests. Jericho Cotchery is already confirmed. That's going to be awesome. We're going to have other guests. We're going to have a call-in line. So if you're on the Jake Asman party or any other party around and you want to call in and share some thoughts, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome community. There's been a lot of people asking for this for a while, so this is going to be cool. And there's going to be some big things coming up this year for this YouTube channel. Obviously, there's that big draft live show that's a month from tomorrow. Can't wait. That's going to be awesome. We've got the Jets home game tailgate Boy Green special we're going to be doing. That's going to be really cool, too. So can't wait. Can't wait. And there you go. For Lily and Big D just said, by the way, tell everyone to go to the store. You have good stuff in there. I bought a quote-unquote moron cup yesterday. So, yes, as always, my dad loved saying it, and it is true. It's down in the merch store down below in the description of every YouTube video. It is a Boy Green merch shop. It's got shirts, coffee cups, all kinds of wonderful things. So make sure you guys check it out, baby. It's a lot of fun. So thank you for Lily for jumping in on that. And we're working on some new merch. I know I've been saying that for a while, but we are working on some new merch to put in the store as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that as well. Thank you to the 700 people that are in the room watching the show. I don't want to, oversell it, but we will be having a draft announcement on the show tomorrow morning for a mock draft Monday. Every Monday, as you all know, if you guys are longtime listeners or viewers of the show, shout out to our people that rewatch the show if they don't get up early or that listen on the audio-only version. We normally have a draft analyst joining us every Monday throughout the entire draft process. That will continue tomorrow with a twist, and we'll talk about that on the show tomorrow morning, where you'll enjoy it. I'll just put it that way. I'm about to go out to the diner with my family. Thank you, everybody, as we do every Sunday. Blessed be he. Again, Mr. Fulton, God bless for thinking about your pal. And go Jets, baby. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care.